Hi guys, this is Swati and Tarika. We are from India and we're performing the North Indian street food tikki chaat today for you.
Well, first of all, aloo tikki is a patties which is made up of boiled potatoes and breadcrumbs mixed with aromatic Indian spices and herbs.
We can prepare them like normally what I do, I prepare the aloo tikki in advance on my free day, freeze them and use them as a snack every day or weekend when friends arrive. So today the main thing is how to prepare the aloo tikki at home with fresh ingredients. So we need boiled potatoes. I prefer purple potatoes because they have more crunch when you fry them rather than the yellow one. They release more water and get hard to put them in shape. You can boil them the way you prefer. Make sure they're completely boiled, and purple one what I prefer, but it goes according to the flavor side. And then we have breadcrumbs, cones, any brand you prefer, and they just help to make the patty a bit more crunchy and gives us with more shape. We're gonna peel the potatoes and grate them, and then here are some ingredients which we're going to need to prepare this dish. They've been separated. So this part where we need mint coriander chutney, tamarind chutney, some radish, tomato and onion. So this portion and yogurt, this is the garnishing side. And then we have some spices to mix up with our potato and breadcrumbs mixture to bring out the patty's flavor. So we start peeling up the potatoes and then grate them well. So this is the part where Indian cuisine we enjoy cooking together, because this is something not one person is doing. It's like sitting down together, sisters, mom and daughter, or grandparents, and it's have like a bit of family chat there. Okay. Grating is very important part, because if you just crush them, they're not going to be in a proper round smooth mold, where then grating takes all the lumps out. So it's a better way to prepare a patty.
Now we have a bowl of 4 boiled potatoes which has been boiled and grated, and now we are adding breadcrumbs, about 4 tablespoonfuls.
You can just pour straight in. That's fine. The quantity of breadcrumbs depends where it gets easier for you to make a mold of a round patty. So we just mix it up, make sure there is no lumps. The water consistency in any potato, it makes it goes soggier by the time. So that's what the role of the breadcrumbs comes in. It not just make it crunchy, it's also keep the shape properly. Indian food is more like you eat it with your eyes first, how appealing it looks, and then it comes to your palate. So make sure it does have that appealing presentation. And there is no specific way of using or quantity of the breadcrumbs with potato. As I said, it's completely up to you. The crunchier you want, the more breadcrumbs you need. The easier you can make a mold, that how much breadcrumbs you will need it. Back home, the old ladies, they hardly use breadcrumbs, and then they start using it because of that. When you keep the snack for longer on side, it start losing its firmness, its crunch, rather than if you add the breadcrumbs, it keeps it that way. So that's also like a new tip. So as we see, we got the dough ready. Now we're gonna add some spices in there.
We're going to add red chili powder, Himalayan salt, cumin powder, coriander powder. This is garam masala, which is a blend of lot of aromatic spices of India, like the cloves, cinnamon. This is amchur powder, which is like dried mango powder. We got turmeric powder. Last but not the least is the ginger paste.
Help you?
That's okay.
And we just add the salt for the taste. And again, we're going to knead it all together. So tikki chaat is something is like you can cook it for the whole big family. It's more for like when your friends coming home, an evening snack, lunchbox style. You can use tikki as making mini vegetarian burgers as well. So it's more like a potato patty. Fast-paced life, we make in advance and freeze them and then use them just when we need it. So here we can see the dough is ready. Tarika, would you like to have a taste? And if you feel like we need to add any more spices, because Indian spices, they all have very distinct and very different sort of flavor. And basically what we're looking here, how intense we want it. Okay, perfect. Let me know. All good?
Tastes very good.
Okay, so now we're going to start the small patties. Make sure you don't make too big. It takes longer to cook deeper inside, and not too small so look like a baby food. Okay, so just like a normal size of ball. Make it round. You don't have to press it too much, because when you're cooking it over the stove, that's when you go a bit more pressing to get a deeper cooking. So this kind of strength, press it too much and we don't want it to look like completely flattened on side. So we make something like that, prepare them. So what differentiate and what makes it called an Indian patty, it's the spices. We can just boil the potatoes, add some salt, make some round potatoes, and it's done. But what differentiates is from the McDonald's patty or the North Indian style street flavorsome patty is the spices. They have very important role to create the flavor in there. And once you try it, that's where you can differentiate the flavor, why and where it's actually belong to. The Indian palate is very vast. We can go very hot, we can go very sweet. But again, just to showing you the spices is give your palate that sweet or that savory or that aromatic blend. And you can always minimize or maximize how much you want to add into it. So now we're going to start pan fried them. You can deep fry them. It's up to you. And again, you can use vegetable oil, rice bran oil, any sort of oil. But the lavish way of doing an Indian snack is more like a ghee. It's made up of cow's butter. It has its own aromatic flavor. And whenever you cook with ghee, I'm not saying from the health side, because you eat, you work out, you never get fat, but the reason why I'm using it, brings out the more flavor of the food. So we just put the enough amount to get a bit of top. You can dip the patty halfway through. We're not doing deep frying here. And you have to do it on a medium heat, because the patties are a bit of in a round shape. If we go too hot, it might burn the top and it's not completely cooked inside. So that's it. Just gonna wait for the oil to heat up. To check the oil's temperature, we just got a few samples from our potato and we try to put them in to see if the oil is ready to put the patties in. So as you see, it's not ready yet. You can just take that side out. So now we're gonna check the oil's temperature again. We put the small sample in. As you can see, start cooking straight away. So this is where the temperature should be when we're putting the patties in it. So now we can start putting the patties in there. I think 6 is on. What do you want to do all? Just wait for a while till the one side get a little bit harder now, so it's easier to turn them over.
It's very important for the cooking medium, whether you use oil or whether you use the ghee. But it's very important that you flip them over only once they are a bit golden.
We can't just leave them on one side to get cooked, because then it will be not completely cooked thoroughly inside. So just flipping them in a minute. See, it's going on. Looks delicious. When we pan frying them, we just measure the texture by the spatula. It has to be firm enough before you start to pat them down. You have to touch the firmness of the patty before you try to flip them over, because that's where it starts to break and flatten up. And as I said, Indian cuisine is how you serve it.
Yep, it's all done. Yeah.
You can see we got one side done. Just waiting a couple of minutes for the other side. You just have to check the other side if it got the same color, and then you just flatten them slowly. So that's where it gets its crunch. Slowly flatten it up. But you have to be mindful, the both sides of the crumb is equal and it's firm. And this will help the ghee to go inside and cook and brings out more flavor in it. Otherwise, it will be very soggy.
It is very important for the patties to be crispy.
Let's flip them over again. Now we got the perfect color. Thanks, Sarika. Just gonna wait for 20 or 30 seconds more, and then our tikki is done.
Now we'll transfer the patties onto the kitchen towel
Yeah.
so that it absorbs excess of
Oil or
or
ghee.
The patty look nice and golden
Crispy.
and crispy, and they don't break at the edges. That's very important. Now coming to the garnishing part of it.
Now we're gonna start the plating up. We put 2 tikkis, press them slightly so the ingredients can go in. Then we're gonna add some yogurt. Green sauce. Tamarind sauce.
That's the yummy dates and tamarind chutney.
Add bit of paprika. It's optional again, but yeah, it's gonna bring out the flavor. What I used here, I use Kashmiri mirch. There is a different kind of paprikas available. Kashmiri mirch, this still give you a bit of hint of heat, but it doesn't get too hot. So just put a bit of onions and tomatoes, bit of garnishing, bit of black salt, and it's ready to go. Let's gonna give it a good try.
Yum. It's got all the wonderful flavors of the spices.
And it's bringing us the burst of flavors when you add the pinching same spices you added in making the potato patty. Sprinkling them on the top slightly brings out a bit more of the flavor. Yogurt takes the heat off, and tomatoes and onions and radish take that freshness off that. Thanks guys, it was lovely to have you guys around here, and thank you so much for your patience. I hope you enjoy the Indian chaat cooking. You can check on the recipe on our page, and we'll see you soon with our more street Indian food. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Tarika.
Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you. See you then next time.